We're back to Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy.
Welcome back in, everybody. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. So glad you guys are with us. Don't forget, you can tune us in anytime at ESPNRadio1280.com on the internet live feed. Also on KGEO 1230 in Bakersfield. Subscribe to us at iTunes anytime. We've got over 400 hours on podcast. And you can take Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy with you anywhere you go. I have Mr. Dave Shamandl in the studio with SlickSticks.com. He's your key to better golf. Grips, repairs, adjusting loft and lies, club fittings, flight scope, golf lessons, and more. It's Dave Shamandl and
Funny
SlickSticks.
Stories?
Yeah, funny stories. You got great stories, man. Well, speaking of funny, on the phone, I think we have him there, is Mr. Vern.
Vern, funny guy.
On the phone there.
Put me back on hold. It was Led Zeppelin. It was great.
I figured you'd like that.
You know, Vern, I told Mike before he got back on the air, I said, finally, a song I know.
It's so funny. That's really funny. I love Led Zeppelin. I don't know why I never played it on the show, and I'll play more. I'll play Led Zeppelin the whole show. I don't care. I love Led Zeppelin.
Instead of the Beatles channel, it'll be the Zeppelin channel.
Yeah, well, Billy's not here. Billy would say it's got... Actually, Billy would put the Zeppelin kind of near the Beatles, but Beatles are up top.
Okay.
But our good friend Vern, I've known Vern for... Gosh, Vern, it's been a long time. You used to be down here in our neck of the woods and wrote for the Santa Maria Times, right?
Going on 20 years now.
20 years, man. It's crazy. Yeah. That's amazing. And Vern and I must say, dabble in fantasy sports as well together. So he was kind enough to invite me to his group of guys with the baseball league. They do some football stuff, which they haven't invited me to, which I can't figure out why. I think I did something wrong, but that's okay. That's for another time.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't say you dabble in fantasies together.
No. Maybe golfing fantasies.
Oh, okay.
You never know about that. But and we also do the fantasy golf with Yahoo. There's only 2 weeks left in the fantasy golf with Yahoo through the golf show, and I've absolutely bombed my season, and I'm done. So, but winners can't be winners all the time, right, Vern?
That's right.
So you're calling.
And you're killing us in baseball. So
well, yeah, I'm holding my breath. Let me tell you that. I believe in karma, and I never go. Oh, I got it. It's easy, and that kind of segues into what Vern shot me an email this morning. Actually, and Vern, I saw it on my phone, and I was driving. I didn't. I was at a stoplight when I replied back to you. So, but I appreciate you calling the show, and why don't you share the question you brought to me, because I think it happens to a lot of people. With the game of golf.
Well, I had a match Thursday night, semifinals of the league that I'm in, and had a great warm up. I mean, I was hitting everything really well and relaxed, and I went to the first tee, and it was like I was wearing boxing gloves, and what was it? And I didn't. I was out of the match before I knew what happened, and then I finally relaxed and got back into it. But
there's the answer.
I just was scratching my head, going, "Where did that come from?"
Yeah, you kind of answered it there a little bit. So let me ask you. You said you finally relaxed. Did you relax out of the fact that you thought you were out of the match?
No, I was trying to help my partner, and so I went into the match thinking, okay, I'm just going to leave the driver in the bag and just hit 3-wood, hit fairways, hit greens, make the other guy shoot birdies to beat me, and I always hit the 3-wood fine. It's just it's one of those reliable clubs that I can always grab when I'm under pressure. And I can usually find a fairway. And I didn't hit a fairway for 5 holes. And I just was scratching my head going, where did, I was snap hooking. I pumped one out of bounds right. I mean, it was just made no sense at all.
Remember, a good or a bad warm-up session always leads to a bad round of golf. A good warm-up session always leads to a bad round of golf.
That was the other thing that I told. That was the other thing that I told Mike. A couple of weeks ago, I was out there and it was the worst warm up I'd ever. I was hitting hosel rockets. I was shanking. I was snap hooking. I went out onto the first tee and I told my partner, I go, I have no idea what I got, but we'll just try and keep it in play and don't blow. And that was one of my best rounds of the year. I was just going, what is this?
I think the biggest thing you got to remember, warm-up session is just that, warming up.
Yeah.
It's not a time to work on your game. It's the old line, if you ain't ready by the time you get to the course, you ain't going to be. So, you loosen up, you stretch it out, and it really doesn't make any difference how you hit the ball before you go out and play because it's a different game. And if you're hitting it real well, you're probably trying to recreate what you did on the range. And when you're on the range, you're just kind of letting it happen. So you got to do the same thing on the course.
Yeah, and that's
about what happened on starting about the 6th hole. I just said, let's just, the heck with it. I'll leave the 3-wood in the bag and grab the driver and let her rip. And that's how I got back into the match.
Yeah, there's two things there, Vern. One is that when you're on the range, whether you're warming up before you go on the course or you're just practicing, there's no accountability on the range at all when you hit shots. I mean,
you don't make a lot of bogeys on the range, do you?
You really don't.
They don't have fairways on the range either.
Yeah, and then you step on the magical first tee box, and it's like, man, the whole world zooms in on you, and it's like you either get tunnel vision or you get fear vision, one or the other, or maybe you get a little bit of both. But the other part I find fascinating to me is, if I'm hearing you correctly, like you changed your normal playing plan, whether you were playing in that tournament or not, by saying, "Well, I'm going to back off and take a 3-wood, and I'm going to do this."
That's the way I usually play those matches. I can hit a 3-wood, as far as most other folks can hit drivers. So I figure it's just a weapon that I'll just hit fairways and let the irons and putter do the talking, but boy, that just didn't happen this week.
So when you got to the point of no return, so to speak, where you said you kind of felt like it was in the bag, I guess, for the other team, that's when you pulled out the driver and went for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's free. That's free swinging right there, really, when you think about it. I mean, it is. I mean, that's just like that's playing.
It's playing golf,
that's the hardest part for people. And we're talking. We got some topics for later in the show, kind of similar to this, but. The hardest part is you can practice all you want, but how do you connect that practice to when you play, and then understanding what play is versus practice. Practicing has a purpose, and playing is playing.
That's just, like Dave said, it just whatever the warm up is, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to step to the first tee with, and it's frustrating.
Time just to get it stretched out. There's one thing I've always wondered about nowadays, not in the old days when we had persimmon drivers and they were about the size of, a mouse for your computer, but nowadays drivers are so dang big and so dang forgiving. I don't see why anybody hits anything but driver, except for maybe distance problems. You might hit a 3-wood because you don't want to take a sand trap out of play because you can't hit the driver or you can't hit the 3-wood that far. The driver is just so much more consistent and curves so much less than any other club in the bag. That's why it costs 4 times more than any other club in the bag too. But look at the size of the face of that thing.
Yeah.
And look at the size of the face of your 3-wood. it just never made a lot of sense to me. And of course, that's why I'm sitting here talking on the radio and not getting ready to go out and play in a tournament.
Hey, I don't have a 3-wood anymore. I took it out of my bag.
Oh, I did years ago.
I don't
got
even
4-wood.
I don't even bother with it anymore. I've got a 3 hybrid and a 4 hybrid. It's like, what's and the technology in those hybrids, I hit the ball just as far. And trying to work a 3-wood, I don't have that shot.
Yeah.
Now, I know, Vern, like you said, you probably, sounds like from what I'm hearing too, that's your club. Like your 3-wood's one of your clubs. You know, is that true?
Yeah.
Like where you love that club?
Oh, love it. Yeah.
But I don't know. How do you hit the driver? Normally, you hit it pretty good.
I was hitting it. I was hitting it poorly on the range as warm up, which I went, okay, that's further confirmation that I probably shouldn't pull it tonight.
Yeah.
And then when I finally pulled it, it was just I was ripping it straight down the middle, and I went, oh, hello.
Sometimes it's just swing hard, you might hit something.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, and Vern, like Vern said, I mean, we email a lot for baseball and the radio show, and it tells me a lot about his golf. But Vern, you play a lot of like match play stuff, don't you?
Yeah. And so we're on to the finals on Wednesday, so we'll find out what I've got one more time real quick.
That's really cool, And then there's the other part about that is, I guess, and a lot of people don't take this into consideration too, but you're playing match play versus stroke play. And I mean, this, but a lot of people don't, match play, I feel like every hole you're kind of reborn.
Oh, yeah.
You got a chance to do it. So like make the adjustment like you did. I think that's a great thing, man. I can't tell you how many times, and we talked about this on the show, and I'd love to hear Dave's thought on this. I can't tell you how many times I played rounds before where I started off double and then went double and a bogey, and I'm like, well, this round's over. And then you play great. So it is one of the topics we're going to talk about later in the show. For me, it's my expectation of what I think I should do, what I can do, and combining that with not allowing myself to play the game, but getting too caught up in the thought and the expectation of how I see myself. And that's I think one of the hardest part of the game. As hard as that, and one of the questions I have for this show is: should golf coaches, instructors, whatever you want to call yourselves, teach golfers about expectation? How should you set your expectations? Because like Wednesday night, we had 20 ladies at our educational golf clinic, and 10 of them are brand spanking new.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what expectation is other than they see the other 10 who have been to the clinics for 2 years because they love it and they're improving. And then they see those 10 players hit good shots and the beginners go, I have to hit it like that. And then the problem is they measure themselves against it and then they quit. And so, a lot of people quit the game on their own accord because they had this expectation of they reached this pinnacle in their golfing career as an amateur or a pro, and then they have a hard time sustaining it for whatever reason, and then their expectation actually blows the whole experience of the game.
Well, people don't realize golf is a game of misses.
Oh, big time.
And it truly is. God, I tell the story all the time that when I saw Hogan speak one time, he said he only expects to hit about 4 shots a round the way he wanted to hit it. His expectations were a little higher than what we got, but
yeah.
This is the greatest ball striker of all time, and he says, yeah, if I can get away with about 4 or 5 a round, that's a pretty good round.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, Mike, I think that's a great thing to bring up because I bring it up to students all the time where, you're out on the lesson tee and every once in a while they just hit it dead solid perfect, but then they hit that one a groove thin or just, 3 blades of grass heavy. And they go, oh, I go, that's a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
And they go, what do you mean? I said, well, you hit that on the golf course, and it's going to kind of tumble up on the green, and that's
going forward.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. So the match you have coming up, Vern, is it a two-player team match, or is it like 4 players and you guys split off into twosomes, or how does that work?
Yeah, we split off into twosomes. So I've got a one-on-one match play plus. My partner and I are combined net score as another match within the match. So
kind of sounds like NCGA team play and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
That's
So,
a cool
yeah.
format. That's really cool. Well, and you guys are going for the championship?
Going for the fame, glory, and clubhouse bucks, baby.
Nice, man. Well,
There you go.
well, we wish you the best of luck, man. It's good talking to you for real, Vern, instead of over digital. I never hear your voice anymore.
It is a talk show, so that's it's good to call every once in a while.
Yeah, call again, man. We want to hear. Billy will be in studio next week. I'd love to hear how your match went if you feel like sharing it.
All right,
Okay, Vern, hit
Good
it
luck,
long
guys.
and straight and not too many times.
fairways and greens. Just hit the short grass.
There we go, man. Thanks, Vern.
You got it.
See you,
Bye.
man. Bye. All right, with that, we're going to take our second break. That was a good friend of ours, Vern, calling about couldn't understand why he had such a great warm-up session, and then he got to the golf course, and it all went to, heck in a handbasket, and he kind of recovered because I think he let himself relax, like he said, and
Stuff happens.
played the game, as they say. So we'll be right back. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy is brought to you by Sundale Country Club. Check them out online at sundaleCountryClub.com. Call them at 661-831-5224. They're the home of the Bakersfield City Championship for over 30 years. That's SundaleCountryClub.com. We come back. We've got more for you guys. We got some Golf Talk Radio hot topics, and we'd love to have you guys call. It's 805-595-3776. Anybody who calls, you automatically will get a prize. Will get sent out to you within 7 to 14 days. You're listening to Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy right here on ESPN Radio.